So how do students find out about the local scholarships that are available?
The high school guidance counselors and school counselors do an excellent job of letting them know about the local scholarships. FAME does have a scholarship search on our database. It's Maine-based, and then we link out to several free national scholarship searches. And we like to tell people, you know, there are lots of free resources, so they don't need to pay someone to do a scholarship search for them. They can get those resources for free.
Okay. And just looking at the paper this morning, I noticed that some of these types of scholarships do a press release or run a little story in the local papers to, I think, to help raise awareness that, that they're there. So it'd probably be important also for students and parents to start probably watching the newspapers and maybe even things like public access shows where those announcements might be made.
Absolutely,
Okay.
That's never a bad idea.
All right. We're almost out of time, but we've talked about a lot of the great resources that students might be getting, loans, scholarships. But loans in particular, let's say student has received these loans. What happens now if they can't pay them back? Can you talk about like what happens when you default on a loan?
Well, I think the important thing is, Dave mentioned it earlier as we were talking, it's not necessary to default on a student loan. The nice thing about the federal student loan programs are there are lots of repayment options. There are lots of resources to help students as if they become behind on their payments or are struggling with their payments. There are different repayment options. There are extended repayment plans. There are some things, deferment options and forbearance options. So there are a lot of federal programs around federal loans to help students so they're not defaulting. And so I think it's important that students realize it's an investment in their future. If they are borrowing these loans, it's helping them get through school, but don't neglect your phone calls and your mail. You know,
Right.
Stay on top of it and contact the resources that you can use for help. FAME is the state designated guarantor for federal student loans. So we talk with students and we counsel them on their rights and responsibilities as a borrower on a regular basis, and we're happy to do that.
Okay. And the last thing I'd like to ask is, what is a renewable scholarship? I've heard that term. Can either of you define what that is or explain a little bit more about what a renewable scholarship is?
Well, I don't know if there's a specific definition for it. It may, I think usually it relates to those sorts of outside scholarships we were talking about previously. Oftentimes students, especially students who are seniors in high school, will receive scholarship money. It's given out, as you mentioned, in June at awards nights and so forth. Sometimes those scholarships are just for the first year. They're given out each year to high school seniors to help them get started at college. Sometimes those scholarships will be renewable. Probably a renewable scholarship is the best type of scholarship for a student to have, because they know, at least as long as they maintain whatever standards are set for the scholarship, that they'll be able to receive that scholarship each year. However, many of the scholarships, the local type scholarships that are awarded, at least through high schools, oftentimes those are for 1 year only.
Okay. Well, this is very informative and helpful. Like I said at the beginning, the half hour has just really flown by. But if a lot of this there's a lot of information. If it's gone by too fast, just remember that you can always review it and download it from our website, allthingscollege.net. And we'll be putting that URL up on our screen for you so that you'll have that. I'd like to thank Trisha and David for joining me today. And all the great information you provided. I'd also like to thank the great folks here at Great Falls Public Access TV for their production and direction. And thank you for joining us for All Things College. If you have any questions about today's show, you may contact me at any time through email. I'm available at dan@allthingscollege.net. And until then, I'll see you next time. Thanks.